Hello and welcome to Strategy News TV. I'm joined to preview Cambridge United with Serge. Serge, I suppose it's his return since the relaunch. How are you, Serge? We missed you the last day.
Cheers, Dale. Yeah, no, happy to be back. I've just come from BBC Red Wednesday in very impressive media city in Manchester, city centre, Salford. It was amazing, really amazing place. So much goes on there, you'd be amazed, honestly. It's obviously, I'm sure you're aware, a highly secured building, and it was nice to see Daniel Webber there. Dan Webber, who used to play for United, striker. He was on BBC on Wednesday, and also Rowetta. Good old Rowetta was there. Also a big United fan, and also James Lindemann. Now Lindeman's been on a number of our videos, and he was there as well. And he was actually we were talking about the Palace game. Obviously, before we come on to Cambridge, we was talking about the Palace game. About today's a day where Cantona booted a fan, should we say, to put it politely. And James was discussing how he was there. He was at that game where he booted a fan, and no one seemed to know what had gone on. And all saw that he got a red card and then whatever. But yeah, no, I'm delighted to be back. Can't wait to relaunch Strategy News TV this year. Obviously, we're coming to the end of the season now. We're coming to the exciting part of the season, but it's more towards the end. And I'm looking forward to 2015 being a big year for Strategy News TV.
Absolutely. So we better get into the FA Cup. This is the first FA Cup special of the year, and hopefully not the last this season. Hopefully we can go all the way in the tournament to Louis van Gaal's first year in charge. I suppose just on that, all eyes at the moment are on top four, and can United secure a place for Champions League next season? For you, should the club just totally just go for that, or chance of arming and winning the FA Cup as well?
Well, I think we should go for anything that we're in, to be honest. We're Man United. We try and win every game. Any game, every game. Doesn't matter who we're up against. If we're playing, then we should go out to win. I think just a poignant discussion would be would just be the fact that the formation that we would play for Cambridge.
We have an intruder.
Sorry, what was that?
We have an intruder.
Apparently so. But yeah, no, I was just saying it'd be interesting to see what formation we come up against Cambridge. I think more recently we've seen Louis van Gaal play the 3-5-2 against all types of opponents. I made the point tonight with regard to the opposition. I don't know who was scouting opposition teams for us, but with the likes of QPR, obviously a weaker team than ourselves, we should be playing a 4-3-3 or 4-4-2, or something which is more attacking in the sense of the 3-5-2 is actually quite defensive. It just doesn't seem to be good going forward in that sense. So against Chelsea, against Arsenal, fine, play that that defensive 3-5-2 formation as he tries to play. But playing the QPRs, the Cambridges, we should be going all out to win it.
On that note, and the FA Cup, I know the League Cup is very, very different, and Wenger was the one that kind of brought in years back to blood youth in these tournaments and to give them the opportunities to take hold of. Louis van Gaal is another manager that is very interested in investing in youth. He's brought through some fantastic players of previous clubs. At United, he's got another selection, James Wilson coming through, and some names that we need to be excited about. In the FA Cup, what does he do? Should he play youth, or should he go for a mixture of fringe players come back from injury, or just fringe players in general, with a mixture of regulars as well?
I think, for starters, we should be trying to build confidence within the team. I think we've seen a number of players recently, their confidence has plummeted. I mean, look at Johnny Evans, for example. I quite like Johnny Evans. I think he's a good player. I mean, look at him when he played a couple of seasons back with Vidic. He was solid. He was a top player. Now, I think Johnny Evans is a confidence player. Now, if he doesn't play with the confidence that he has, then he obviously you've seen the product that he is today, which is a big shame. So I think to build his confidence, he should be playing in the smaller games like the QPRs, like the Cambridges, and try and build that confidence so we can try and force his way back into the team. So yeah, I'd like to see players who are lower confidence like Falcao as well. Try and nip in as well. but also a mixture of youth. I think it's important that we see the likes of Adnan Januzaj and James Wilson. So maybe a Wilson Falcao up front and Adnan Januzaj playing as well. And maybe a Herrera as well. I mean, he's not enough game time, nowhere near enough.
I think that is the one thing. I was thinking about that situation myself with Ander Herrera and the urgency and the attacking flair he does bring. Just in comparison to Fellaini, who seems to be getting the better over him this season. Well, he has done. I personally would rather see a player like Herrera start, and then if we needed to bring the likes of Fellaini on, Fellaini shouldn't be our solution to starting games, and perhaps he is an avenue to go down if we need to sneak something at the end of the game, or even hold on to a result.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I like Fellaini. I mean, I think most people are eating their words this season with regards to Fellaini. I've seen lots of talk online, even when we win, people slating Fellaini. Well, one person in particular slating Fellaini, and it's just so unnecessary and unneeded. I just don't think it's helping anything. A. B, there's such a big difference. I don't even think you can compare the Fellaini from last season to the Fellaini this season. This Fellaini this season's hungry for the ball. He wants to receive the ball. He wants to play it left and right. He wants to win his headers. And I love it. I love seeing the passion that Fellaini's bringing to the team at the moment. And he genuinely wants to do well. And he's got every chance of doing well. And and building himself into a United player. Some people will say, oh well, let's be honest, he's just not good enough. I don't know if I agree with that.
You see, that's the one thing, and there's a lot of fans out there that they slag off a player, and almost when they slag him off, they never want to see him improve, and that really gets to me. If I slate a player and I don't think he's good enough for United, I'm delighted to see a following year that he's proven me wrong. I love eating my words when it comes to United and that kind of situation. I think Fellaini's done just that, and the likes of Phil Neville last year were ultimately convinced that he was to that standard. I'm still questioning where he has the technical ability for being a Manchester United midfielder, but that's not to say he can't do a job. And in some games this season, he has done a job. In an FA Cup game, we'll get on to this about Cambridge and what to expect from a lower league opposition. I expected him to be physical, and I think the likes of Marouane Fellaini and his beloved elbow could come in quite handy.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I just worry, I don't know if Cambridge have a big guy up front. I think that's something that we always need to struggle against, big players.
Up in Yeovil, lad.
Yeah, Yeovil, exactly. Yeovil have that massive guy up front. I was told he was an ex gym teacher or something. But I love that about the FA Cup, because you come up against, Bill the carpenter and David the painter, and in his spare time he plays for Yeovil and Cambridge, and I love that. And it's actually gonna be nice for us to come against an ex-United player who's going to be playing against us on Friday night.
Blessed with the looks, that Luke Chadwick.
Yeah. I think he has to be probably one of the ugliest United players ever to grace the red shirt, to be honest.
On that note, who has been the ugliest player to wear the red shirt? Look at Karras. We've had some people in the past that...
We have had some munters play for United, I'm telling you.
Fell off the ugly tree.
Yeah, you could say that. I don't know. I mean, I think you did a piece in 2011 of the ugliest players to ever grace a United shirt.
I think I gave it to Luke Chadwick. So if he's listening, I hardly doubt he is, but if he is listening in the build-up to the game on Friday night...
I think Gordon Strachan was in there somewhere as well.
Gordon... Yeah, maybe that's a bit harsh.
Well, on your article in 2011, on the 3rd of April, you put him as number 5.
Number 5. Who was number 4, 3, 2, 1?
Well, your best bud Gary Neville was number 4. Wayne Rooney number 3. Carlos Tevez number 2.
And number 1?
Who else but Luke Chadwick?
That's good research, Serge. I suppose, you go to United home and away. 9 times out of 10, you're always going home and away. And I think there's United support is fantastic away, and it's credit going to anyone that puts in the effort and the time and the money that does that. It's fantastic. The FA Cup and the League Cup, I think you always see people on Twitter saying, I hope I get this team because I've never been to that ground. And you've never been to Yeovil before. I highly doubt you've been to Cambridge. What is it like getting to those grounds that are not people you've never seen or been to or attended before?
Well, firstly, obviously, when you go to a lower league ground, they're always very respectful. I mean, I found their fans really, really nice. They weren't aggressive in any sense of the imagination. They're quite happy that you're there and quite welcoming, which I like. Going to inside the ground is always quite amusing. Really, it's quite funny. It kind of you get in there and you just kind of think, what a shitter, where the fuck are we, kind of thing. And it's really funny in that sense. But I do enjoy it. I like going to the shit grounds. I had a friend once say to me, he supports Bury, and I remember him telling me, he said, you don't watch real football. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, no, you don't watch real football. I said, what do you mean? He goes, you've never experienced a last minute winner at Bristol Rovers away. So based on that, I was thinking to myself as I got into this ground with hardly anyone in it. Well, obviously loads of people in such a small ground then, but obviously hardly anyone in compared to the likes of Old Trafford. But you walk in, you just think, now I know what it's like. If you to be so kind of close to the players and so intimate. It's quite an intimate atmosphere. It really is, and especially as a lot of the older grounds, they're all you're standing, and most of them don't have covers over the top. I mean, when I was at Yeovil, they had no cover, and we were stood up. It was a standing standing section, which was great, and I'd like to see that reintroduced really. But that kind of brings football back to its roots, which I quite like. But yeah, it's a really really interesting experience, and it's something I'd definitely do again.
As far as I'm aware from a bit of research, I think Cambridge, or the chairman, is currently a former Norwich striker, and you always hear the chairman and so on come out when the FA Cup is on, when they get big ties against United, home to United or away to United, and it's a real way for these small clubs to make money, and sometimes it's done in a manner that I could not really respect. Ticket prices, I think you can touch on in a few moments, but Yeovil's, I can't think of the figure top of my head, but their match program was quite expensive for the United game. What do you think with that? Because these clubs don't make anywhere near the money Manchester United makes, or even any of the small clubs in Premier League make nowhere near that. They're small clubs and lots of them are voluntary run. So how do you see? Do you see this their way to make money, or do you think that they're just taking the piss and robbing United fans?
I mean, I don't believe any of the United fans should suffer with having to pay. I mean, I don't remember the last time I paid for an away ticket face value. Honestly, I don't. I don't think I have done. Actually, maybe once or twice, but in the years I've been going to aways, I've never rarely paid face value. I mean, the point is, irrelevant of that, I think you've got to look at, people say, well, why should the fans suffer? Well, they shouldn't, but, you can't, I can't have a go at Cambridge for putting up the prices because United are coming. Because they know that United are going to turn up in numbers. And they know if, we can't really protest as such. I'm just repeating, obviously, what a lot of it was discussed on tonight, BBC on Wednesday, but we can't really, protest in the sense that, we wouldn't not turn up. Because if we didn't turn up to a game because of the price of the ticket, somebody else would lap it up. Somebody else would. We were that big of a club, we're that big of a club. We're not a small town or a small little village. I think the point is the fact that obviously these clubs, a lot of them like Cambridge and whatnot, they don't get the amount of fans that they should, that the stadium holds per game. So when United come, it's a chance for them to kind of recoup money that they've lost almost. I feel like a lot of the chairmen are often chasing a loss, and they're trying to recoup their money. And it's not United's fans' fault, and they shouldn't have to suffer. But in the same instance, you look at the likes of Bayern Munich, you look at the likes of Barcelona. Their boards pay for their fans to go watch away. So fair enough, Cambridge are charging that price of £30. United should be paying something towards that ticket. Just like Bayern Munich and Barcelona pay for their fans to go over, whether they pay for their travel expenses, or whether they pay for their buses, or whatever they pay for when they get there. They'll contribute towards it, and that's why their system works. And when I went to Munich last season to watch United, it was, you could see it's all about the fans. Everything over there is all about the fans, and the football club's geared that way, and I love it, and that's the way it should be.
No, absolutely, absolutely. But I don't think, unfortunately, Joe Glaze or Abraham Ryan's going to buy into sorting us out with tickets. Um, I haven't asked you about your starting 11 for the game against Cambridge, so knock me out.
Right. Well, I probably I shove Valdez in because Valdez needs to start. Love De Gea, obviously, but Valdez's debut. Um, and then I would play. Well, if we're gonna go with 4-3-3, I'd play maybe. Who would I play? I'd play Rafa right back. He needs to get some confidence going. Rocco needs, he needs a few more games just come back from an injury. And I would probably say either Smalling or Jones based on their fitness and based on whoever. Actually, maybe not. Sorry, take that. I'll take that back. I'll play Tyler Blackett. I want Tyler to have a few games. I mentioned this on BBC on Wednesday today. I like Tyler, and I think he's going to be a great footballer when he's a bit older. I think he's the type of player that when he gets the ball, he'll come and bring it out and distribute left and right. And I love that about him. He's a ball-playing defender. With age and once he gets a bit older, he will become a leader. I know he will. He is. He's got all the attributes to be a top player. So I'd like to see Tyler play. And then left back, is Shaw available? Yeah. Okay. So I'll probably play Shaw because he needs some confidence as well. So based on that, I play 4. Yeah. So Valdez and them lot, and then 3. I think Di Maria needs to play because he needs some games. I'd say Di Maria, Mata, and Rooney. And then up front, I'd play James Wilson, Falcao. Actually, no, sorry. Instead of Wayne Rooney, Herrera. And then up front, Falcao, Rooney, and Wilson.
So with Herrera, you're dropping Mata for Herrera.
No, I said Di Maria, Mata, and Herrera, and then Rooney, Falcao, and whatever his face is, Wilson.
That's tough starting 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have obviously Valdez making a debut. Your back 4, it's a back 4, but not a back 3, which I think the viewers will enjoy. Consists of defenders that are either young or that need to improve their fitness and perhaps awareness to become a regular again. Then in the midfield, Di Maria, Matt Herrera, which it's great to see Herrera back in the starting lineup. And Di Maria needs game time because he hasn't been delivering of late. And up top, Wilson, who I think deserves a start and got a chance last week, and he took it against QPR. Falcao and Rooney, which I don't think you can argue too much with. Mine will be very, very similar. Same back 4, same goalkeeper, apart from I take Blackett out and put Paddy McNair in. I want to see Paddy McNair in a flat back 4. I think he'd be much, much better. Midfield, I'd perhaps take Mata out and put in. I'd perhaps start Fellaini, but I would definitely start.
I just think, obviously, I know you're saying take Mata out, but if you remember what happened at Yeovil, we played a hell of a lot better when Mata came on because he was able to create things. And I think he is the creator, he is the midfield playmaker that we need to start, to mix up the play and to start playing, etc., etc. So I think
I do.
We're playing.
I do believe that Herrera has that attribute in his game too. I think that last season, I think at Bilbao, he did play some games as number 10. Now he's not a number 10, but he has done so in the past. And I think if you played him, and even if Mata wasn't starting, you would have that avenue too. And it's great to be on a player like Mata on the bench, or even vice versa. But I do really want to see Herrera start on Friday night. And up top, I can't argue. Falcao needs to start scoring. It's as simple as that. He had his opportunities. I'm not going to slay him because off the ball he works tremendously hard. He makes fantastic runs. He's good on the ball too. He's tough. He's stern. At times, yes, his first touch can be a bit off. But this is someone who hasn't played a lot of football in the last year. And before anyone says that, when you go months after playing football in your professional football, you should still have your first touch. It's different with each player. Different players go through different cycles. but he has to start scoring goals. If he doesn't, United are not going to sign the contract or sign the deal. And at the moment, I still don't think they're going to force out that money unless Monaco lower the valuation. Wilson, like I said, deserves a start, and Rooney, in fact, Louis van Gaal has spoken a number of times about Rooney that regards to the game, he's a leader and he plays when he's fit. And Rooney loves that, because even when Fergie was there, even at big games, when they were getting on and Rooney was on the bench, you could see Rooney on the bench and he was edging to come on. Rooney's the type of lad that he could play 7 games a week. He wants to play 7 games a week, and he's hungry the whole time. That's one thing you can't take away from our captain. Before we do wrap it up, Serge, it's fantastic having you back on Strictly News TV. Can I have a scoreline prediction? And granted, we do get through, which we should. What's your dream opposition for the 5th round of the FA Cup?
Well, who's going to win the 4th round?
Sorry.
I don't know. Depends who wins the 4th round. Depends who's in the jackpot. Who's in the pot to choose from. I mean, I've
like a big one, like Liverpool, Chelsea.
I think it's too early for that. I think you ruin it. I think you ruin it when it's a team so big, so early in the competition. I wouldn't do that. I'd keep with the smaller teams. Keep going to random away clubs, which I quite like. Random places in England. No doubt we'll be playing Land's End FC or John O'Groats FC or someone like that, where we will have to travel to God knows where in the country on a God knows what day. Again, God knows what time. So I mean, it's just getting worse. We're playing Friday nights now. I can't make it. Anyway, but I don't know. Just I'll be happy with anyone. But the scoreline, I reckon I'm going with 3-0 United.
3-0 United, right? Because the game against Yeovil wasn't too convincing, and I was confident going into that. I'm not too sure what to expect, even performance-wise. I do think we'll win. We should win. Should be easy to win against Cambridge. United on paper, I don't think Louis van Gaal is going to try out a bunch of reserves. I think he will have some big names in. And to be honest, the game against Yeovil, that just wasn't good enough. I don't care what system you play and what players are playing. If they're household names like regular players, new side and so on, you should be walking all over Yeovil. I know these teams come up against you and they give you everything they have. It's their biggest day of their career, but should not be given the chance to have a go that's where Yeovil did. If Yeovil had a decent striker that wasn't just a freak of nature, perhaps they would have put one in the net. My scoreline prediction, though, I'm going to go for same result against Yeovil, 2-1. I think it'll be the same again, whatever system. I hope it's not a 3-5-2, but there's not talk about that. And I think if he does stick, that is his style. There's a lot of fans. I think they were chanting about 4-4-2 last and that. I'm not buying that one bit. That this is his formation. This is why he's going to stick with it if he feels it's right. We need to get on with it and trust that he's going to turn this whole thing around and get it perform well again and get results.
I think he's playing that because he says that we've not got the players to play in the other formation.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I agree with him there. I agree that he should be playing his formation. In the end, he's the manager and he'll make the decisions. But big but. He should be using that formation against the opposition, that we should be playing, and that we should be playing at the bigger games, Chelsea, Arsenal. Fine, play the 3-5-2 where we're more kind of defensive on the outlet. But against the likes of Cambridge and smaller teams, we should be going all out attack. We've got Di Maria, we've got Falcao, we've got Mata, we've got Rooney, we've got Van Persie. We're not a small club. We've not got crap players. In the attacking department, maybe defensive frailties, but against the smaller clubs, it don't matter as much.
Absolutely, spot on. So we'll wrap it up then. Serge, thanks a million for joining us.
Pleasure as always. Can't wait to start this new season. You're going to see a new brand as well, guys. So Strictly News TV is being relaunched. Currently working on a new brand logo and whatnot. And we can't wait to share it with you. And we can't wait to show you more more away day films, and lots more to give you, and hopefully we'll be pairing up more with United View in the following in this season as well. Ben and the lads do great work there, so we'll be hoping to link up with them too. So stick around, keep checking back for more content. We'll let you know when more comes up, and come on United, let's keep it real, and let's keep it red.
Absolutely. Right, to stream TV, like and you share this video, and leave a comment if you have any thoughts on what we've spoken about, any questions for Serge or Dale. So, there's a bit of an echo, I think, Serge, with your mic.
No, it's your connectivity is not great. So guys, remember to subscribe to Straight News TV. There should be a button somewhere around this screen, and leave your comments below. Sorry about Dale's poor quality connection, but he's in a field in the middle of Ireland, so so I apologise for that. But yeah. So just keep looking out for great content, and come on United, and keep checking back.
Thanks for listening.